speaking to you this week after the terrible destruction experienced on the East Coast after Hurricane Sandy. It was terrifying to see the footage of the power of the sea rising up and smashing into New Jersey and New York, and to contemplate all of the destruction. It makes us, watching this, remember all the things that we take for granted when we are able to appreciate electric lights and a refrigerator that works, knowing that so many people, millions of people, were experiencing the absence of those things. And now, in the aftermath, there are still difficulties with gasoline, with those whose homes were destroyed and to which they will not be able to return. And so we think about our responsibility, and we try to make sense of this terrible event. There's a psalm that has come to mind this week as we reflected on the storm. It's a psalm that we normally read on Fridays, Psalm 93, in which it speaks of God's power and having created the sure foundation of the earth and a world that stands firm. It says God's kingdom stands from earliest times. And it goes on to say, the rivers may rise and rage, the waters may pound and pulsate, the floods may swirl and storm. Yet above the crash of the sea and its mighty breakers is Adonai, our God supreme. It's a powerful image, right? Terrible storms, and yet we understand that God is greater in power even than that. And the question is, how does God reflect that power? Well, I don't accept the theology that sees God as the puppet master controlling the waves. But certainly, I see in our response of kindness, of chesed, to those who have been hurt so badly, the response of God's hands as a source of healing. There are many people doing work to respond to Hurricane Sandy. Our Chesed Committee, our Social Action Committee, from its own disaster relief budget, has already sent a contribution to Nechama, a Jewish disaster response based here in the Twin Cities, but which has a national reputation for the work it does in cleanup after disasters. They've already sent a trailer to New Jersey to begin the cleanup, and people nationally look to them to organize volunteer response. Our local federation has conducted a campaign that it'll send to the National Federation office, which is based in New York. They're well placed to figure out the needs that exist. And our United Synagogue of Conservative Judaism also has a disaster relief fund. They have assured us that there is no administrative costs taken from those funds. Rather, they're used to assist in the disaster relief, and in particular to provide for congregations whose insurance will not be adequate to meet the needs that they're now experiencing. We are hearing that many synagogues lost their power, and those that have power have become shelters for people in need. So that's how we respond as we think about God, whose power is supreme even above the mighty breakers and above the powerful storms. But God needs us to be partners to make sure that people feel God's presence at this difficult time. Shabbat Shalom.